Morning all. Um, it's a really wet and soggy morning today in Sydney, and yeah, uh, it's almost like waking up to a miserable day. But nah, it's not too bad because we've had a really hot summer here in Sydney, Australia. So it's good to get some relief in terms of the weather because the heat was a lot this time. Anyway, yeah, so welcome to another video, and yeah, today I'll just share a little bit about what I've been up to and what I plan to do in the weeks coming for in the next few weeks. So right, starting with so my repository React TypeScript to-do list. So I actually updated that. So I've had this long-running branch over there called BE integration, which is backend integration. So that was to integrate that with the Node.js and AWS backend. So when I first created that repository, I was using local storage. So it's like Node local storage, which is essentially um, it's like local storage, but then for Node.js. So that means that for client-side code, for client-side JavaScript, it would actually for local storage, it would create something in the browser. Um, but in case of Node.js, it would create like a little file that it would write contents to. So there was that. Now, so I was working at the same time as I was working on. Uh, um, okay, let me backtrack. So I've been working on the front end as well as the back end in parallel. So the way it's been happening so far is the back end has been moving a little faster than the front end, um, and no particular reason per se. It's just that I had more time to devote to the back end. Maybe I enjoyed the back end more. Who knows? But yeah, so the backend was up to speed. It had all these endpoints and everything that I needed it to do. It also it was deployed on AWS, and it had it's well integrated with AWS DynamoDB and what else is in? Yeah, it's just AWS DynamoDB and Elastic Beanstalk. So that was all working really well. But what was missing was the front end integration, the React TypeScript to-do list app to the backend, and that's something that I completed this last weekend. And the reason why I said completed with almost like a question mark is because yes, it's doing all that. It's in sync with the backend. The only issue is when it comes to deleting and marking a to-do done, uh, it successfully executes that call to the backend, but the the UI doesn't quite get updated. The UI doesn't update instantly. Um, there's something about the state in React, something about the state hooks that I need to get, um, that I need to know more about and get a bit better at. Um, it's working for other aspects of the app. For example, the adding the to do and editing the to do, all that is working fine. The state's working as expected, but for this one, there's a little bit of thing that needs to be done. Um, so yeah, if you have the time, please clone, fork the repository, and then create a PR. Happy to review it and approve it, and we can merge that. Yeah, so it's just the reason why it's taking me a little longer than it should is because I'm working with too many things. Oh, seriously, mate. I'm working with too many different things. So on my day job, I'm actually doing a whole bunch of security, like the OWASP top 10, and then things like WAFs, web application firewalls, and so on and so forth. And the code that I write at my day job is Java, like Java, either Java using Jersey or Java Spring Boot. Um, right. Now, when it comes to weekend, when I have my extracurricular coding activities, that's when I do this. That's when I do some of these things. But again, what has taken up quite a bit of my time is AWS. So, like I mentioned, all of these things are deployed onto AWS, and it's working great. So there's a ton of stuff that I'm using that I've sort of learned over time, like including CloudFront distributions, storing, deploying, and hosting the UI from S3, then routing via Route 53, and then creating hosted zones, CNAME records, so on and so forth, and then hosting on Elastic Beanstalk, and then the SNS, yeah, simple notification. Yeah, it's like a there's all of that has taken up quite a bit of my time, and it's so which is why when I've come back to this to-do list, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, wait, what did I do it the first time? I can't remember. That's fine. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. If I cannot, and if you, I mean, I'll get to it eventually. But if you can help me, I would really appreciate it. Please, this is open source. I'll build this repository, and I've actually shared this just for everyone to see and everyone to get an idea of how to do certain things. So that's it at that. So for both the front end, the React TypeScript to-do list, as well as the Node TypeScript CRUD nodes, I'll put a link to those GitHub repositories in the description of this video. So please check it out. Next thing, so what do I intend to do for in the coming weeks? So yes, I intend to finish off this the React TypeScript to list front end, maybe refine the UI a little bit, and then I want to add some sort of art like OAuth2, because right now it's add extra security mechanisms, and now the next thing would be once that's done. So I want it to get to a point where I can actually look at my phone and edit my to-do list for the day. So the idea is to actually replace or to sort of have my data through the iOS app piggyback from this. So that's the goal. Right. So I do intend to finish this, and next I've thought of creating a whole bunch of these repositories, little repositories on GitHub, for say something like if you were to build a Twitter app, what would that REST API look like? So I can just create a quick little repository on GitHub using TypeScript or Spring Boot, or both. And the next thing is for that TypeScript API key auth repository that I created recently on GitHub. It's just no TypeScript app that has API key authentication, and it's also got rate limiting. So I'll create a repository on that for using Spring Boot. Those are some of the things that I plan to do in the next few weeks, and yeah, should be fun. So please check out my GitHub repositories or check out my blog, and then if you like my GitHub repositories, please give it a star. That will help me, and that would be awesome. All right. So thanks very much, and until next time, I wish you well, and live long and prosper.